Hello and welcome to the Rev It Up podcast, helping entrepreneurs fill up their tanks, crank up the RPMs, and put the pedal to the metal until they cross that finish line. Hello, I'm Jess Tiffany. Ready, set, go. Hey everybody, welcome to the podcast. Super excited to have the LinkedIn ads expert, king of the universe as far as LinkedIn ads, AJ Wilcox with me today, also host of the LinkedIn ads show. And I'm just super excited to learn everything I can from him. And I'm sure you will find some great value in it as well. So with that, hello AJ.
Thanks so much for having me, Jess. I'm super excited to be here. We've been friends for a long time, and now we get to make it official.
Yes, absolutely. And let's see here. There we go. I'm just adjusting my video view here. Got to figure out how to work this computer thing. I'm just always amazed by, LinkedIn ads is like a whole different animal than the organic I've done really well with the organic, and I think I at 26,000 connections or something like that so far, and got things going. But it's all, there's a lot of strategies and stuff. But I haven't really had a ton of luck with the ads, other than some of the new branding ads that are out there. And let's start with growing your personal brand. Is there some good stuff for LinkedIn ads that you can use, or how do you justify the cost versus advertising on Facebook, that kind of stuff?
Yes, great first question. The answer is LinkedIn's ads only are able at this point to promote a company's page. So even if you had a post that was doing really well personally and you wanted to kind of boost it in front of new people, you could using LinkedIn's ads.
Okay.
So it is very much a professional play.
Yep.
The other thing is, I'm sure we'll dive into this, but the biggest complaint that everyone has about LinkedIn ads is it's so expensive compared to Facebook. And it's true. It's certainly premium priced. And because your traffic costs a lot at the beginning, the average cost per click is like $8 to $11 in North America. So it's quite high when you consider Facebook might be $1 to $3 per click.
Yeah.
What it means is you've got to have a pretty large deal size on the back end or lifetime value for it to really make sense with those higher costs. So I would say it's not for individuals to use. It's got to be for a business, and you got to make sure you've got a large lifetime value. I would say $15,000 or more to really make sure it's going to provide a decent return on investment.
Okay. And that's what I was going to ask you, is how big? So 15,000. So that's the lifetime value. So it's not the initial purchase. It's so if you can get if your average lifetime is 3 years on every client that comes through the door, then you'd kind of add those multiples up to get to the 15,000. Am I thinking that correctly?
Yes,
okay.
Totally. And you might also have a lifetime value of 30,000, but your patience in waiting until you've collected that might be shorter. So you might say lifetime value of 30K, but I'm working with a 15K or a 10K deal size here, and we need this in within 3 months or something. So yeah, whatever you're comfortable with setting, just make sure you've got at least 15K for the period you're comfortable working with.
Okay. And how important of a role would you say optimization of the company page matters when you're advertising?
Surprisingly, not too much.
Okay.
We found that it's usually on average 3% of people who click on ads will end up clicking to go through to the company page. So that's 97% of people who are just going to see your company name, your logo, and the number of followers you have. Okay. And so as long as you have a number of followers that provides pretty good social proof, and you're happy with your name and your logo, then the majority aren't going to get past that. But certainly for the 3% who do, it's worth having a page that at least it looks like the lights are on in someone's home.
Okay. And is your goal to get, more views and more likes, or, obviously it's business at the end of the day, but is there kind of like a ratio, how many likes versus how many customers you get, or how do you kind of figure out the strategy on that?
Yeah. So we are very performance based. if someone comes to us and just says, hey, we have this many budget, we want this many impressions, anyone can do that. It doesn't take a smart advertiser to do it. So those generally aren't the deals that we work with. We're usually working on pretty tight, like, here's our cost per lead that we need. Here's our, it's a little bit more ironed out.
Yeah.
So we know with every type of advertising, you have the same kind of funnel. You show impressions to people, which is just like them seeing the ad. And then a certain percentage of those will click, and you'll know that is your click-through rate, and you'll be able to calculate how much you paid per click. And then so many of the people who click will end up converting. They'll fill out some kind of form.
Okay.
And that's your conversion rate and your cost per conversion. And then, of course, you can keep going down to like the cost per phone call with my sales team, cost per proposal sent. But those are usually the metrics we track, as like, get us the furthest down that process with some kind of confidence. Okay.
So can you go straight from the advertisement then into like a funnel, or does it go to your company page, or how I guess I'm not sure where you go with that?
Yeah, you can send the traffic as long as you're paying LinkedIn for it. You can send the traffic wherever you want. I would say about half of our clients keep the traffic on LinkedIn, and they just use a lead collection form like right within the ad. And the other half are sending to a landing page or a website that they own. Okay. It's really up to you. If you send the traffic to your site, you can do more with that traffic, but your conversion rate will be a little bit lower. If you let LinkedIn collect it, you'll have a higher conversion rate, but quality probably won't be quite as high.
Okay. And can they, so from those forms on LinkedIn, if you go through the LinkedIn route, can those go into like a purchasing right there, or is it more of just a contact me type deal?
You can ask for whatever you want. It wouldn't have a shopping cart unless you kind of plugged it into something, but e-commerce also doesn't work very well with LinkedIn ads. So usually we find like there's, I think of it in terms of like the very top of the funnel and the very bottom. The very top of the funnel might be, come and read this blog post. And I don't like doing those kinds of ads because I'm paying LinkedIn's $8 to $11 per click to send someone to my blog, which is pretty low commitment. And that's a lot of money. And on the opposite side, you might have buy something from me, or hop on the phone with my sales rep, or get a demo or a consultation. And most of the time to cold traffic, that doesn't work because people aren't on LinkedIn surfing around trying to find a new vendor to do business with. You know, they're on their way to go do something else. So usually the kind of offer you want to start with is something where you're providing some kind of value to them first. And in exchange, you're only asking for, let's say, first name, last name, and email address. Okay. And if you can do that, the internal forms are really good at just collecting some basic details and shipping them into like your CRM platform or your marketing automation platform, or through Zapier.com. You can put it into a spreadsheet if you want. Okay.
Oh, very cool. So like I found this new, well, I don't know, I think it's new. It's like a branding advertisement, and it seemed like it was a lot cheaper, but the only option basically is to, get them to hit the like button on your page.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's so interesting about that, LinkedIn just released this. I say just released, but it's probably about 1.5 years old. They released what they call objectives, where when you put an ad together, you get to say, hey, LinkedIn, here's what I really care about. Like what you're talking about is the engagements objective. And its whole goal is like, hit like, comment, share, visit my company page, or follow my company page. And it's about 35% cheaper to do that. On the other hand, I'd argue it's worth significantly less to you to have one of those actions take place than it would be to have them come to a landing page or fill out a form. Right. They might be interested in something you do. Yeah. But yeah, there's all kinds of different objectives based off of what you want to do.
Because there's there's no conversion happening. It's just literally somebody hitting like, and hopefully you can follow up somehow organically, I guess. I haven't quite figured it out. I tried it just because I was curious, but somebody told me about it. And I did like that it made my page look a little bit more credible because I had an extra, 75 or 150, whatever it was, likes or something like that. I don't remember the numbers, but it was more than it, started with, and it was like $20 a day for a week or something. I just playing with it, type deal. So I think maybe for like a starter person, maybe getting, kind of getting their page going, I think it's probably a good idea. Maybe just to get get some eyeballs on the company name. And then you just got to rely, and it's kind of more like the old billboards, on the side of the road. I mean, it literally is just kind of flashes up on your screen. If you happen to be lucky enough that somebody's interested, maybe you'll get a call or something, I suppose.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it also occurs to me, you might have been running a type of ad called dynamic ads, and they have only one call to action, and that is follow our company page.
Maybe that's it.
That could be it. And those we like. You'll probably still end up paying like $6 to $8 per follower, which is still a lot per follower, but it's the cheapest way to get LinkedIn company page followers who are like real and targeted.
Yeah.
So some people are willing to pay it.
Yeah.
I like you said, getting that initial bit of social proof on your company page so that more people are willing to follow you.
Yeah. Yeah. That's one of the things I notice is like when you go to a company page and there's like 7 likes and you're kind of like, is this the legit count? Is it just a guy in his basement or, which is ironic because I'm a guy in my basement right now. But anyway,
you and me both.
Yeah. All this virus stuff, you stay. Well, I pretty much worked at coffee shops before, to be honest. I enjoyed going to coffee shops and meeting people and shaking hands and handing out business cards and that sort of thing. But now it's sitting in the basement and hanging out and listening to the kids pound on the piano above me. You might be able to hear that, Mac.
Yes. And tons of Zoom meetings.
Yes, lots of Zoom meetings. So yeah, that's great. So you were kind of one of the original people kind of that I know of anyway that were kind of gotten good at LinkedIn ads. Can you tell me a little bit about kind of just your background, getting started with the whole thing and how that kind of worked?
Yeah, it happened totally by accident, which is, I mean, if you would have asked me 10 years ago, like, what do you want to do with your life? Grow up and start a LinkedIn ads agency? I would have said like, no, you're crazy. But here's what happened. I started out right out of college. I fell in love with search engine optimization. And so I went out and was an SEO guy and learned about Google ads. And at that time, I mean, this was 13 years ago. That's about what it took to become like a digital marketing manager. Like you had to know paid search and you had to know organic search.
Gotcha.
So I got brought into several companies as like their in-house digital marketing guy. And the most recent company I was at, this is about 9 years ago, on my very first day, the CMO was asking for my strategy and I shared it. And she went, okay, all that sounds great. But just so you know, we started a pilot with LinkedIn ads like 2 weeks ago, see what you can do with it. And of course I said, yes, ma'am, absolutely. Like this is my new boss.
Yeah.
But I had no idea what LinkedIn ads were. Like I'd never heard of them before. And so I just didn't want to look stupid. So I jumped in and started trying to work with them. And I think I got really lucky because about 2 weeks later, one of my sales reps came up and introduced himself and just said, hey, AJ, we don't know what you're doing over here, but we're fighting over your LinkedIn leads. They're amazing. Whatever you're doing, keep it up. And I went, what am I doing? So long story short, I kept investing. And over the course of the next 2.5 years, I grew that account to become LinkedIn's largest spending advertising account. Wow. And at that point I went, okay, there's got to be more companies than just this one that would kill it on LinkedIn ads. Oh, yeah. I don't hear anyone talking about it in the marketplace. Maybe that should be me. And that was it. 6 years ago, I started B2 Linked, and that's what we do.
Wow. Yeah. Now you're all over. I know you're talking at Inbound and all these digital marketing things like that. And I heard, or we were talking before, and you said something about you got a new announcement that's coming out technically tomorrow, but yes. This podcast won't be out until after that. So, could you share us a little bit about that exciting offer that you had?
Yeah. So the big thing is LinkedIn doesn't let you choose when you show your ads. They start, like a new budget starts at 12 a.m. UTC time zone, like UK time, and it shuts off at midnight if you haven't already hit your budget. Okay. And here in the US, I mean, like here I'm Mountain Time. That means that all of my campaigns start at 6 p.m. with a fresh budget. And if you've got a small budget, like let's say $20 a day or something, it's totally possible to blow that entire $20 on just the insomniacs, the people who can't sleep and they're not ready to convert. They're not in their right mind per se. So most platforms, yeah, exactly. We've all been that insomniac just mindlessly scrolling because you can't sleep.
Yep.
So because LinkedIn doesn't offer that ability to schedule your campaigns, we started building our own tools and we said, maybe we can offer that. So we have this tool. If anyone wants to check it out, there's a freemium version where you can schedule 3 or fewer campaigns for free indefinitely. It means you can turn them on or turn them off at certain times. You can increase their bid to go a little bit more aggressive at certain times of the day, increase budgets, that kind of thing, all on a schedule. So if you go to b2linked.com, oh, sorry, that's our business website. Never mind. LinkedInadsbulk.com/scheduling. That's the big announcement is we're actually launching a tool. We're not just an agency anymore. We're also a tool SaaS provider.
Wow. That's really exciting. So is it like a API somehow it links in or how do you do that?
Yeah, we're actually the only ad agency to be official LinkedIn partners. And because of that, we got access to the API and could build all our own tools. So now anyone who's especially running smaller budgets, you can time it. So your ads don't even start serving until people actually start getting into the office for the day.
Okay. Wow. That is really neat.
Yeah, I'm stoked about it. This is a big release for a services company.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Totally. From my point of view, that's an amazing accomplishment. So congratulations. That's pretty sweet. So
thanks. We'll see how it goes. By the time everyone's listening here, it will have already kind of run its course. So I'd love to hear from any of you who join and try it out, what you think.
Yeah. Oh, and I forgot, sorry, I meant to say it earlier. Where can they reach you and what's the best way to get a hold of you or the company?
Sure. We're really easy to get a hold of. If you go to b2linked.com, which is our website, fill out the form on any of those pages and you'll go either directly to me or directly to one of our account managers, and none of us are salespeople. So feel free to fill out a form, talk to an expert immediately, ask whatever you want. I'm also on LinkedIn, and just if you do reach out to connect over LinkedIn, just make sure you customize your request and say, hey, I heard you on Jess's show, just because I only accept invitations that I know the person, or it's customized telling me why they want to connect.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's awesome. And on my notes here, I wrote that you had a new study about using LinkedIn during COVID, and I was really curious what kind of discoveries you had, or how much you can release publicly versus some sort of download. But if you could give us like a little overview, that'd be really cool.
Yeah, well, this was really prompted by, I have so many friends who specialize in Google and Facebook and YouTube, and during that initial COVID panic, they were all saying, wow, prices have dropped in half, or YouTube ads were down to like a 1/9 of their cost pre-COVID at one point. And I went, that's incredible. What's LinkedIn down? So I ended up, because we have API access, I ended up doing crunching some data. It was about $1.5 million worth of spend. So it wasn't a crazy huge amount, but it also wasn't tiny. And we found out, like, you can go check out the study if you want. But it's like in that first month of panic, costs dropped like 33-ish%. Wow. And one of the ad formats, I'll tease you here. I won't tell you which one, but one of the ad formats is still running at like a 22% discount. Wow. So go check out the study and see if it's a good time for you to be advertising.
Very cool. And is that a website they go to as well?
Yes, it is. It's actually on our blog. Okay. I'll actually send you the link here.
Perfect.
And
I'll make sure we get it in the notes.
Perfect.
Awesome. Well, very cool. So I guess, we talked quite about LinkedIn, but like, is there a couple things about yourself that I just kind of like to know you better as a person too, a little bit. I know you told me about your story about how you got started with LinkedIn, but what do you do for fun and free time and all that kind of stuff?
Oh man. When I was younger, I would say even up until just a couple years ago, my goal in life was to sacrifice experiences to try to set us up financially. And so I was really cheap, just didn't spend any money on anything. I was a really boring person. I didn't go do things that were experiences.
Sure.
And here in just the last few years, I've kind of flipped my script and realized, wow, money doesn't mean anything unless it's helping your relationships or bringing you experiences.
Yeah.
And so just in the last few years, I've jumped into, I mean, basically any new experience that I haven't had before. Off-roading, motorcycling, driving on a track in sports cars, basically anything with an engine I love. And
Wow.
I'm also terrible at music. I think you can probably see here in my background, I've got a couple guitars.
Yep.
I play them absolutely mediocrely. I play the drums, the piano, all terribly. So
Okay.
I just want to keep just experiencing new things that I haven't learned before.
Nice. And you got ammo in the background.
Yeah. Yeah. That's our acronym for, it's the three things that every social media ads campaign needs is you need your audience, your message, and your offer. So that's my reminder that of what you need in order to start socially advertising.
That's awesome. And are you married, kids, all that fun stuff then?
Yeah. Married to my best friend from high school. We've been married for about 14 years now and got 4 kiddos. So trying to repopulate the earth.
That's awesome. That's almost identical to myself. I got 4 kids, probably about 14 years, because our oldest is 13. So we got married a year before that approximately. So
nice.
We started a little bit late. We were in our 30s before we got married and stuff, but
way to go.
Yeah.
I mean, I know how hard it is to have 4 kids. And so anyone I know who has that many, I'm like, good on you. Hope you're taking it better than I am.
Yeah, that's awesome. And so I have to comment. I like your treadmill desk thing you were telling me about. I thought that is the coolest idea. It's as an entrepreneur, it's really hard to get out and get exercise. I find, and I know some of it's just discipline and setting it up my schedule, but it seems to get pushed off, or even if I have it in my calendar. And I think it's pretty cool that you're doing that. Do you have any other tips for folks about, kind of fitting stuff in just as an entrepreneur?
Yeah, I've tried about everything. Because like you mentioned, as an entrepreneur, you find yourself working crazy hours and you've just got to do business stuff. And you oftentimes have to neglect your health. So treadmill desk was one of the first things that I did. And I found that I absolutely loved that. I also got a bike desk, which I don't really like as much.
Okay.
And I even got pedals that you can put under a normal desk and just pedal. I ended up just selling those. I didn't love that, but I'm all about multitasking. If I can find some way to burn some amount of calories while I'm, being a workaholic, then by all means, I'm in.
That's awesome. I like that. Yeah. I mean, my stuff is just usually dumb stuff. I'll, every time I go to the kitchen, I try to kind of lean against the cabinets and do 15, 20, 30 push-ups, or something like that, or, just little things. But I realize if I tie them to something, they happen a lot more often than before. It was just kind of hey, I should drop and give me 20, type deal. And I didn't, I would just be very intermittent and not very consistent. But as soon as I tied it to something, when I go to get a coffee or, or whatever it is, it kind of gives me it's like a mental trigger to actually accomplish that. Anyway, I know that probably doesn't have anything to do with this particular topic of revving up your business and getting more revenue going, but I think it's important that we kind of make sure we look at the whole, picture of stuff too. But so thank you for letting me know about that.
Well, and I find that when I've exercised, I've moved, my mind is going to be clearer. I'm going to work better. I'm going to be able to focus longer. So I do think it is related. I mean, there is a connection. Yeah. And so even if you can just trick your body into moving while you're going, a standing desk or one of those yoga balls or something that you sit on, I think any of that would be good, at least if your brain's anything like mine.
Yeah. My wife got me the best present ever, I think. It's this big massage chair, but it's got built-in Bluetooth and stuff. So I can I put on some music my family hates, like Bocelli or something, and I just have this blaring while I'm getting a massage, and I just feel so good after that.
Oh, I love it.
About 20 minutes on that thing.
I would pipe podcasts through that for like hours on end. That sounds dangerous.
Yeah. Oh, it's I like it. So do you have any tips for how to take LinkedIn ads to really pump up the company's revenue?
Yeah. Very first I have is just realize, like we talked about before, you've got to have some kind of, usually a content offer of some kind to lure them in and to really earn their know, like, and trust. Usually that's something like, come join our free webinar where we're going to teach you X, Y, and Z, or download this free ebook or guide or checklist or cheat sheet. Those all tend to work very well. And LinkedIn ads lets you target very specifically certain kinds of people. So, we can target by people's job titles, their levels of seniority, their skills on their profile, or even the groups that they're members of.
Okay.
We can target by individual company name, company size, industry, and that's probably only about 1/6 of everything that's available.
Okay.
So I think my biggest tip is come up with content that people are just crazy about, that they are willing to give their information for it because they haven't seen that anywhere else. Target your most powerful audience, your most key audience. Don't go any broader than you need to as you test it out. And then make sure that your sales team is really nurturing and giving a lot of love to each of those leads so you can get feedback on what you need to do more of or less of. Okay. And if you can do that, LinkedIn is going to be the channel that's going to bring you the highest quality leads, the biggest fish.
Nice. It's
like spearfishing.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That's pretty awesome. So like versus like Sales Navigator, I know you have like I want to say like almost 80 parameters. Is it even more than that as far as the ads, or is it about the same, or?
It's about the same. Most of the parameters that you can see in Sales Navigator are exactly in line with what LinkedIn ads gives you. And then ads gives you a couple more. And then Sales Navigator has a couple that I wish that ads could give you. Okay. But they're pretty close. If you've used one, you'll probably feel really comfortable on the other.
Okay. And is there like a success story or something, or maybe one or two success stories that you can think of that would be pretty cool just to learn about?
I think, us as an advertising agency, we get paid more when a client spends more. Okay. And so the biggest success stories for me that we love are when we've done such a good job that clients come back and say, these leads performed great, we're going to increase our budget. Nice. So we actually had 3 in this last year who were all spending kind of low to mid 5 figures a month. Wow. And overnight, and this is without any sort of prompting or prodding, they came back, obviously different times, and said, we want to increase our budget. These are performing great. Nice. With the sales team, we're going to increase our budget between 5 to 9x. And so that's 3 accounts all within a few months of each other doing this. And that's when you've really nailed it.
That's awesome. That's really exciting. Very cool. Well, so thank you for that, AJ. So I'm going to probably wrap it up here just because I know you got stuff to do and I got stuff, but man, this has been a great interview. I really enjoyed chatting with you. And again, could you remind people where to find you and how to reach out, and maybe one last thing about you that most folks don't know?
Okay, perfect. The website, if you want to reach us, is the letter B, the number 2, and then the word linked.com. So b2linked.com. Really easy, just fill out the form, get in touch with us. You're not getting a sales experience when you do that. And one thing that you can know about me that most people don't, I'm just a giant child. As a kid, before I could drive legally, I wanted to drive so much because I love cars. And I actually saved up all summer long in the hot Arizona sun delivering phone books back when phone books were a thing. Okay. So that I could earn up enough money to go buy a go-kart. And at the end of the summer, I went and took all of this cash in hand to the Honda dealership, ready to buy this thing. And he went, "Oh, 2 weeks ago, we just discontinued that model because it was too fast or too unsafe or I don't know, something."
Oh no.
And my little heart was just dashed at that time. Fast forward a bunch of years. I mean, this is 7 or 8 years ago. I was looking in the classifieds and I saw like a racing go-kart for sale, and I was like, I am a grown man, but I must have this. So anyway, I've got this wicked fast blue go-kart. If you're ever in Lehi, Utah, and you see a chubby ginger flying around the streets, it's probably me. Just don't run me over.
Oh wow, that's fantastic. Oh, awesome. Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm not as brave as I used to be at that stuff. When I was younger, man, I'd jump on something like that and go. I think the last time I did is on our honeymoon, which would have been 14 years ago. We went on the beach down in Mexico, and we zipped around on the ATVs and up and down the trails, and absolutely had a blast. So I think I could do that again. That wasn't too dangerous because I think I had a helmet and stuff, but anyway, that sounds awesome. So thank you for sharing that with us. We appreciate it. And we'll talk again soon.
Fantastic. Thanks again for having me. And I hope all of you got benefit out of this as well. Thanks for joining with us in this cool conversation.
Awesome. Thank you.